Hello, guys, and welcome to another Cambly Live. How have you been today? I see that many new students are here. I see that everyone is starting and saying hello, good morning. I see an Alex, I see an Ezekiel. Hello, Alex. Hello, Ezekiel, from all the way across the globe. So, guys, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Tutor Quao. I've been working on Cambly for a while. I'm originally from New York, and today we're going to talk about idioms and useful expressions to use in the workplace or in the office. Now, we're going to start that in a little bit, but in the meantime, how are you guys doing? I see all of you guys saying hello. I see a Vinny Mello from Brazil. I see a Rifza from Pakistan. Hello, Rifza. I also see an Asim. I see Okay, Mohammed. Hello, guys. How are you? Where are you from? Tell me. Come on, let's get this party started. Let's get the ball rolling, we could say. Remember, guys, you can share this video with your friends. It really helps us keep making more. And just in case you want to rewatch it, or maybe your friend or your family member didn't have time to see it live, you can follow our YouTube channel, you can follow our Instagram, and even our Facebook, and we re-upload videos there, or at least re-upload small clips so you can watch them whenever you like. Okay, so I see Umit from Turkey. I see Stefania from Italy. I see Darcio also from Brazil. I have a lot of Brazilian students, actually. I have a lot of students from Turkey as well. So hi, guys. And Hamed from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Nice to see you here. And Angelis from Mexico. My mother's from Mexico, actually. So that's good to know. Nice to see you. Naria from Korea. Awesome. It's a great thing to see you guys. For me, it's the morning. For you guys, it might be the morning, the afternoon, or the night, depending on where you are in the globe. But it's great to have you all here. So Nadia also. Hello, Nadia. Okay. Excellent, guys. I see a fun zone. Okay, very good. So, guys, remember, share this with your friends, share this with your family, like the video, subscribe to the Cambly YouTube to help us keep making videos. Rivza, good evening. It's very nice to see you here. I see also an Abdulaziz from Jeddah. Okay, awesome. Good. We're just going to wait a few minutes to give an opportunity to other students to join in, and then we're going to start the lesson, all right? But it's great to see you guys all here. Remember, like I said, like the video, subscribe to the Cambly YouTube channel, share the link with your friends, and also subscribe to the other pages or follow on Instagram and Facebook so that you can always watch the Cambly videos from me and from other tutors. I also see a Vicky from Japan. And Afshan from Pakistan. Vera, nice to see you guys. It's a pleasure to have you all here. Now, again, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Quao. I am a tutor from New York, and I've been working on Cambly for quite a while. Okay, today we are going to review business idioms and expressions, or useful expressions to use in the workplace. So I also see a Rahman from India. I see a Yıldız. I see an Abdullah. Hello, everybody. Mohammed, also from India. And Sharif from Egypt. Okay, so people actually tuning in from all over the world. That makes us really happy. We have a lot of students from all over the world, from many different countries. And we love to see you guys here. We love to see how you guys interact and how you guys are happy to watch these videos. Korea, Egypt, Eunice. Okay, perfect. That's excellent. So guys, let's get this started. Now, to begin with, like I had said before, we're going to talk about business idioms, business expressions, or useful things that you can say at the office or the workplace. Okay, this vocabulary is going to help you in meetings, when you get hired to a new job, to a new company, when you have to go abroad, or simply when you have a meeting on Zoom or Skype or whatever other platform you may use. But first, we have to get a kind of basic idea of what an idiom is. All right. So what is an idiom? Okay. Just to make sure you guys can see this, right? Just to make sure. Okay, good, good, excellent. So an idiom is technically defined as a group of words that have a different meaning if they're together, and they have another meaning if they're separate. A very basic idiom is "it's raining cats and dogs." Okay. Oh, I see one person saying that they can't see it. It's upside down. Maybe you mean flipped, right? If it's flipped, I can correct that like that. Okay. Can you see this now, guys? If it's the right way up, just tell me, and we'll keep going. Okay. So, as I was saying, an idiom is a small group of words that we can use to express some idea. Okay. Now, this idea has a different meaning when it's a lot of words together to when it's separate. A very common idiom is "it's raining cats and dogs." Now, obviously, when we use cats and dogs separately, it means the animal. When we use it together, it has another meaning. It means it's raining really hard. So sometimes an idiom is not always so easy to understand if we don't have the right context. And that's what I'm here to help you with. An idiom that we're going to use in the office, and I'm going to explain the context. Okay. So I'm just going to write that down just in case you forget that. So a group of words with a different meaning. It might be a little messy, guys. I'm sorry for that because I have to write turning around, but that's the main idea. We're still going to explain it more. Okay. I see people coming in still a little bit more. So a lot more from India, a lot more from Pakistan. Hello, guys. How are you? It's great to see you. Remember that if you didn't see the introduction or if you want to repeat it, you can rewatch this on Instagram or on YouTube. So be sure to follow our pages and also like our Facebook. So I put this more or less in order to give you a better idea, a clearer idea. And the first ones we're going to do are "let's get down to brass tacks" or "let's get down to business." Right? I'm going to stick these up in a whiteboard. Right? Basically, what these expressions mean is to start. Okay. Let's get down to business or let's get down to brass tacks. Now, although these expressions obviously have different words, they carry more or less the same meaning. Okay. And that main meaning is to let's get started. When you say "let's get down to brass tacks" or when you say "let's get down to business," you're basically saying, hey, let's go ahead and start, right? It might be "let's start a project," "let's start the meeting." It basically means let's stop waiting. We're done with the introduction. Now it's time to get to work. Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks and let's get down to business. Okay, so in what situation can you guys imagine using this kinds of idioms or expression? Like I said, these are for starting something, for saying, hey, let's get to it. Let's imagine I'm in a meeting, right? We're outside, we're talking, everybody is saying hello, but maybe we're a little short on time, or maybe we're in a little bit of a hurry. So I'll come in, or maybe the boss comes in and he says, okay, guys, let's get down to business. This basically means, okay, we said hello, we're done talking. So now it's time to start the meeting. It's time to really begin what we're doing. Mm-hmm. So what other situation could we use this, guys? Either let's get down to business or get down to brass tacks. Mhm. Now, I see Rivsa saying, let's get down to work. Even though this could be, it's not exactly the same idiom. So this type of idiom is a lot more common. It's more common to say, let's get down to business or let's get down to brass tacks instead of saying, let's get down to work. The expression you're thinking of, Rivza, actually is more common to say, let's get to work. You don't really need to say, let's get down to work. It's fine if you just say, let's get to work. Mm-hmm. Okay, so following that, I'm going to use another little expression here that many of you guys probably already know, and that is a 9-to-5 job. Okay, now a 9-to-5 job is actually something very, very easy to explain. It's a job that starts at 9 in the morning and that ends at 5 in the afternoon. Many, many jobs are 9-to-5 jobs because many, many jobs like this are in the office. Okay. So when we have a sort of stable schedule, it's nothing too extreme, it's not too late or too intense, it's a 9-to-5 job. 9-to-5 jobs, like I said, are normally connected with the idea of working in an office, at a desk, something kind of normal, we would say. Okay. Now, however, there are also a little bit more detail that we can say about these 9-to-5 jobs, and that is either a white collar or a blue collar job. This might sound a little bit funny. Now, be careful, guys. Collar is not the same as color. Okay? Color is like the color red or like the color blue. This word is actually different. It is not the same and it does not have the same meaning. Okay? A collar is a piece of your clothes. This part, this is a collar. When you're wearing a shirt, the part where you connect your tie, that is a collar. Okay? So, in this case, white collar and blue collar are ways to describe what your job is. White collar workers are people who work at a desk at a very clean environment. Normally, they work in something related to either their ideas, their hands. It's not physical work, right? That is a white collar job. For example, a businessman or woman, maybe a banker, okay? Right? That is a white collar job. Someone who works at a desk, someone who is in an office, very clean, typically they earn better money. And a blue collar worker is someone who works a little bit more physically, doing jobs that are a little bit more difficult, a little bit more demanding, but still works for a company. So maybe it could be a warehouse worker, right? Somebody who works at organizing the company's objects, their stock, maybe even cleaning. Those are blue collar workers. Okay. Now, let's keep going. There are some other expressions that we can use. In the meantime, guys, tell me, do you guys work at a white collar job or a blue collar job? Do you work at a 9-to-5 job or do you work in a different schedule? I know that in China, it's very popular to have that 996 job, which is from 9 in the morning to 9 in the afternoon or at night, 6 days a week. This is not so common all over the world, and that's why we say a 9-to-5 job, right? So let's see this. Many of you probably have seen this and this on the internet, in a TV show, and maybe some of you have an idea of when to use it, but maybe not exactly what it means. So, ASAP or ASAP. Sometimes we say ASAP, sometimes we say ASAP. Both of them are pretty acceptable. Both of them can be correct. We just have to know when to use them. ASAP means as soon as possible. So it basically means, hey, hurry, or be quick. Okay. Let's imagine that I am a boss and I am telling my workers, I need that report ASAP. Or I am a banker or an investment counselor and I say, hey, you should invest ASAP. That means you should invest as soon as possible. Okay. As soon as possible, meaning really fast, really quick, or immediately. Mhm. I see Andre saying a 7 to 3 job, white collar. Nice. Very, very good, Andre. Thank you for sharing. So awesome. You see, guys, some of us work a white collar job, some of us work a blue collar job, some of us work a 9 to 5, some of us have very different schedules. So that's excellent. Next one we have FYI. This is pronounced FYI. We couldn't really say FYI or something like that. So be careful never to pronounce it another way other than FYI. Okay, FYI. And FYI is kind of simple. It means for your information, right? For your information, right? That means that someone is giving you an extra bit of advice, an extra little bit of information, or some other explanation that is necessary. Very good, Momo. You got it. For your information. Excellent. So, this type of expression is normally linked to giving someone just a little bit more or explaining something, right? Imagine we're at a warehouse, imagine we're somewhere in the office. Where could we use this expression for your information? It is a little bit trickier, of course, but let's try to imagine. I imagine something like, maybe we're at a warehouse or a bank, we're at some business, and the manager is explaining to me that everything is very safe, everything it has security measures, right? Especially now in the pandemic. And he tells me, for your information, or FYI, the fire extinguisher is right there next to the door. Okay. So that means FYI, the fire extinguisher is right next to the door. He's giving me a little bit more of information. He's giving me a little piece of advice, or he is explaining something. Mhm. That is a good example of when we could use FYI. Of course, there are many other situations, and if you guys can think of any others, write them down. Okay. Now, speaking of thinking of other stuff, there is also some expressions that we might need to use when we're beginning a job. Okay. By the way, guys, any questions that you have, you can write them down. And in a moment, when we're finished with some of these expressions, we are going to give you a little bit of time to ask me extra questions that we may not have covered here. Okay, so start thinking about any questions you have or any expressions that you want me to explain, anything like that. In 10 minutes, maybe, we're going to take some time to explain them. Also, remember to keep tuned in for the promo code that we're going to give at the end of the lesson. It's a promo code that gives you a nice discount if you're going to sign up for Cambly Lessons. We would love to have you, your friends, everyone. And also remember that if you didn't have a chance to watch the whole video from the beginning, you can watch it on YouTube after it's been processed, even if it's not live, or on Instagram. Okay, so be sure to follow the Instagram, give our Facebook page a like, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way, you're always going to see us making videos and keeping this coming. Okay, so as I was saying, one of these expressions that we might want to use when we're starting a business or starting working at a company is show you the ropes. This is something that somebody else can say, or you can say to somebody else. It basically means to teach you the basics, show you the ropes, right? To teach someone the basics, the ropes, like the general way things work. You can, of course, substitute you for any other person that you're thinking of or that you need to talk about. For example, You might want to say, I'm going to show him the ropes, or I'm going to show her the ropes. Or, of course, you might want to say, she will show me the ropes. Okay? Understood? Great clarity, Alex. Thank you. Very good. So that's clear, right? Show you the ropes. Excellent. There is also something that affects the way we learn, and that is a learning curve. Now, many of you guys have heard of this before as well, right? A learning curve is like the curve of the pandemic. So, most of you know that it's a shape like this. It is basically how difficult something is based on the time. So, of course, a curve that is like this is more difficult. A curve that is like this is less difficult. And to describe that, we have the word steep. When we have something that is steep, it's basically something like this. That's not flat. Steep is basically the opposite of flat. Okay? It means that it has a big inclination. It's very difficult. It's very hard. A steep learning curve is something that is difficult to learn. The learning curve is, like we had said before, how much time something will take you to learn, how difficult something is to learn. Okay, so if we have a steep learning curve, it means that it's quite difficult, or it's going to take us a lot of effort. Now, Hamed, I noticed that you're asking some questions. Remember, don't worry. If you ever want to rewatch the video where we give all the explanations, you can rewatch it on our YouTube channel or on Instagram, okay? So be sure to follow those pages. Perfect. Next one, corporate ladder. Now, this is an expression that maybe some of you have not heard before. Corporate ladder. Now, imagine physically a ladder, something that we use to climb up onto a higher place or a higher area. Okay. Now, the corporate ladder basically means the structure of a corporation, a company, or a business. It means that you can climb the corporate ladder. You can get higher in the business. Your level or your position can improve. It can increase. So we can say, I want to climb the corporate ladder, or it takes a long time to climb the corporate ladder. I didn't write anything more specific because corporate ladder can be used in different contexts to try to explain different ideas. But that's the main thing, the corporate ladder. Okay? Now, you might also hear this expression, thrown in the deep end. This is also kind of common when you begin. Now imagine a pool, and imagine one part is deep and one part is not so deep. If someone throws you into the deep part, you're going to have a little bit of trouble if you don't know how to swim very well. So basically, when you start a new business or when you're starting to work in a new company and someone throws you in the deep end, it's saying that you're starting off in a very difficult position or in a difficult situation. That's what it means to be thrown in the deep end. Okay, to start off in a difficult spot, maybe you're not completely prepared. Maybe you're not really totally ready. Okay, that is to be thrown in the deep end. Now, I'm going to start to cover some of these up just so that we have enough space. Okay, one of them is to scope out the competition. Now, a scope, you might notice, sounds a little bit like telescope. And that is a little object that we can use to look like a telescope a little bit farther away or a little bit clearer. To scope out the competition basically means to analyze the competition, to see what the competition is doing, to check if we can learn something from them or if we have to be careful with something that they're doing. Okay, so to scope out the competition basically means to learn what the competition is doing and what we should do because of them. All right, meaning, should we be very careful? Should we invest more? Should we stop? Okay, that is to scope out the competition. Now, we have two others that I think go together, which is to think outside the box and the big picture. I say that they go together because it's our way of thinking about things. To think outside the box basically means to not follow very conventional rules, to be creative, to be imaginative. Okay? So if we think outside the box, our brain, our idea is not limited by a very, very small box. We're being creative, we're trying to be very open. Mm-hmm. Now, the big picture, of course, is the general idea. That is why I think they're a little bit related. When we're thinking about the big picture, we're normally considering all the possibilities. Okay, we're thinking how it will affect long term, what things are important, all of that. Mm-hmm. Now, let's go ahead and continue. These two also go together. Talk him into something or talk him out of something. I'm using a very generic him. Of course, we can say her. Of course, we can say them. Of course, we can say me. But just to give the example, I wrote down talk him into something or talk him out of something. Okay? This is our way of convincing people. When we talk somebody into something, it means that we're convincing them to do something. When we talk someone out of something, we're convincing them not to do something. So into something is the positive, and out of something is the negative. Okay? So talk him into something, maybe I'm talking him into investing, or I talk him out of something. I'm talking him out of investing as well, or I'm talking him out of taking a loan or spending too much money. Okay, now we're almost done. Remember, in a few moments, you guys are going to ask me questions about expressions or about these, and we're going to explain them in a little bit more detail. And then after that, we're going to give the promo code. Remember to stay tuned on YouTube and on Instagram, like the pages, follow our Facebook, and also share this link, guys. It's always, always very good for us when you guys are happy that we know that you like the videos and you guys share it with your friends. Okay. Now, another expression is to get the go ahead. To get the go ahead is actually quite simple. Go ahead, you probably know, is another expression that means yes, you can do something. It's a green light. It's saying you have permission. So to get the go ahead means that you have received approval or permission. Okay, it basically means that you can now now you can start something. Okay, that is to get the go ahead. Another tiny little one that is also useful if you don't get the go ahead is to scrap something. When we scrap something, it basically means to throw something away, to stop it. Okay, that is to scrap something. We can scrap a project, for example, meaning we throw it away. It wasn't approved. We didn't get the go ahead, and now we have to throw it away. Mm-hmm. That is to get the go ahead or to have to scrap something. And if you have to scrap something, that means that your project didn't receive permission, and now you could say, my hands are tied. When you say my hands are tied, it means, imagine if your hands are literally tied, it means that you no longer have permission or there's nothing you can do. Okay? It means that that's it, it's over, your hands are tied, there's nothing you can do. Okay? Now, last one, guys, before we call it a day, is that expression exactly. Call it a day. Right now, we're going to answer some questions right before we call it a day. You might have heard of this before also in some other TV series or movies. To call it a day basically means to finish something. When something ends and you just are going home or you finished working or when you want to quit for a little bit, you call it a day. So, hey, I'm very tired. I'm going to call it a day, meaning I'm going to stop working. I'm going home. That's it. I'm going to call it a day. All right. Excellent. Yes, Nadia, to finish something. Very, very, very good. Excellent. Now, guys, we're going to take a few minutes just in case you want to ask something. Come on, now is the time to actually throw all of your questions at me regarding idioms, especially. Of course, guys, the best method to learn right before you ask someone on a live or anything is to go to your Cambly tutor. Cambly is a platform where you can speak to native tutors 24/7 from your telephone, from your laptop, from your computer. So you can actually take lessons with us, or you could just have casual conversation. We can help you do your homework. We can answer questions about advanced grammar, some of us, or more basic grammar. Some of us have specializations in teaching. Some of us have just a native background, and we're here to help practice. So for the moment, any questions that you have, now is the time to ask them. I see Abdullah asking, could you please elaborate more on the idiom corporate ladder? Of course, Abdullah. Now, the corporate ladder is basically what we call the general structure of a company, right? A ladder, if you can imagine it, is one of those things that you use to climb up maybe to the roof of your house, okay? So the corporate ladder is that vertical structure of a company or a business, meaning at the top we have maybe the CEO, then CFO, COO, right? The big corporate bosses. Then maybe we have the regional managers, then the branch managers, then the office managers, the floor managers, then the workers. So it basically means all of that structure. And we say the corporate ladder because the idea is that we can go up the corporate ladder. Okay, so we can climb the corporate ladder. We can improve our position. We might start off as a salesman or a saleswoman, as a simple, basic floor worker, someone who is just beginning, right? But we might climb the corporate ladder, and maybe after some years, we might become a manager. Okay, perfect. I also see throw in the deep end. Could you give me more examples? Of course, Swelly. So, to be thrown in the deep end, what I was saying is imagine a pool. One side is deep, one side is not so deep. If you're thrown into the deep end, it means that you're thrown into some place that's difficult, it's very tricky. Maybe you're not exactly prepared for it, right? So it means that you're going to struggle. You can use this idiom basically in any place where you are starting something without too much preparation, where something is difficult. Okay. This means that if you start a job and they give you immediately from the beginning very, very difficult tasks, you could say, I started a job on Friday and they threw me in the deep end. So immediately they gave me a lot of work or very difficult work. Okay. Maybe you could say, I started a new subject in school and it felt like I was being thrown in the deep end, right? That new subject was very difficult in the beginning. It means that I didn't really feel ready for it. Those are some examples where you can use thrown in the deep end. Okay. And show me the ropes. That's the last one we're going to talk about before we call it a day. To show you the ropes is basically to show you the basics of something, show you how something works, how you can do some stuff. That is to show you the ropes. Typically, somebody else shows you the ropes. Somebody else is your guide, or somebody else explains things to you. Okay? So that is to show someone the ropes. In this case, our example was to show you the ropes. For example, right now, I'm showing you the ropes of business idioms and expressions. Okay? Very good. Now, guys, we are going to call it a day soon, but right before we do that, I'm going to remind you, share the link, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We do these Cambly Lives frequently every Sunday, and we try to cover a very wide range of topics with different teachers, not only me. So you can actually even watch them on the YouTube channel. And if you didn't watch them live, and if you don't like to watch stuff on YouTube, you can also watch them on Instagram. Also, stay up to date with our Facebook page. Like it, follow it, subscribe to it. There you might find information about promo codes like the one that we're going to give now, or about classes or anything that you might need from us, remember, we're here to help you guys. It's a pleasure always to interact with you. We love teaching you guys. We love discussing things with you. Okay. Now, we are going to give a promo code for discount for when you're signing up to Cambly. And that promo code is Go Live. Okay. So Go Live is the promo code, guys. You can use it to sign up for Cambly if you're not already a student. And if you already are a student, remember that you can have classes with me, with any of the other tutors that have appeared on the Cambly Lives. Just to reiterate, my name is Kwao. I'm a tutor from New York, and I've been working on Cambly for quite a while. Even though I do specialize in pronunciation techniques and advanced grammar and vocabulary, I also teach this kind of thing. So even if you're a little bit more of a basic student, my schedule is open and I'd be happy to teach you guys. So guys, I'm really, really glad you enjoyed it. FYI, the class was very nice. Thank you so much, Swelly. It's a very, very good example of that idiom. It was a pleasure being here. And remember, we're going to see you on Cambly. Sign up, share this video with your friends, recommend us, like, subscribe, and hope to see you very soon. Okay, guys, so I'm glad you enjoyed it. Take care. Have a very good Sunday, and see you on Cambly. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, guys.